Hey, what's going on with y'all? Good morning, fellow cultivators. I'll address what I'm about to talk about much later when I'm about to finish this up because it's not going to be that long anyway. 'Cause of course, I got business going on. It's 24/7, of course. And yeah, my apologies also too because cause I could have been I'm still getting more greater at that. I kind of still release more fresh content and stuff like that. But I was just just relaxing, just chilling. But I'm not gonna apologize for that. But I'm just saying, still like some I could have still talked about with y'all. But only things I want to talk about that's interesting, of course. But like I got here one for y'all today, and we're gonna read the article first before I give my. Yeah, it really set me off too. I was like, ooh, wow, really, and yeah, Randy Orton is very yeah, of course he's a legend. So I like anything he listens to, and of course when he has his mindset into going into the wrestling business, I listen. So okay, so he says, and this is by Ringside News, of course. Randy Orton, he finds that there's a lack of respect for veterans today, and of course that is, look at the era that we're in. How it's like how soft. It's just not. It's not even that. It's like everywhere. How it's just like the the society. Well, society is worse enough, but it's just that the mindset. That's why we barely use our brains. So I'm not even remotely, in the surprised department when it comes to the society we're living in today, and the minds of individuals, of humans as of today. When we're discussing that, yeah, you're not gonna get very far trying to put yourself in the mind of an individual that's constantly on social media. You know, they have nothing, not think anything else besides fucking, or what's going on TikTok, or who to follow, how to get big, or it's a whole lot of just incomprehensiveness, no sense to make. But yeah, let me not get carried away. Okay, so he sat down with an interview with somebody yesterday, I believe. Yeah, I just looked at the video real fast. It was yesterday. Yeah, this was yesterday, and yeah, he recently sat down with Ariel for an interview, and he talked about how today's generation of wrestling, when it comes to respecting veterans of industry. I mean, look how, and unfortunately, I won't be able to get a little creative because I gotta make this quickly, but yeah, he said he talked when it comes to today's generation of wrestlers. He also talked about, yeah, how it's a lack of respect. I mean, look at how Undertaker, and how look at how Undertaker was perceived when he had an opinion. His opinion, like I said, it's whether it's his opinion or not, it was still his opinion, and how he was just bombarded and ripped apart by today's generation of wrestlers. How how he perceived them to be soft, and how they're much more engaged on social media. Even though you have social media, you don't see, like I think I said a little bit the time that I didn't. I will have time to go back to it, but I said the little time that I spoke onto it, like you don't see wrestlers like Stone. You don't see wrestlers like Stone Cold, The Rock, or Shawn Michaels, like Ken Shamrock. Like you don't see those like kinds of wrestlers on, like Kurt Angle. You don't see them on social media. Like the time that they, like, you have social media, like, I mean, you should have some, because that's that really seriously has a problem. But you only see, when it comes to like more like really mature wrestlers like The Rock and Stone Cold, they're only on social media when they're showing off, whether they're having a ball, or they're showing their wherever they with their family. Like they're not on social media that just like straight up bombarded and talking shit about, or whoever. No, they're just they being much more mature about when it comes to them. And he was talking about, yeah, that, and he said, honestly, at this point in my career, I think I'd be understanding, because I would see a lot of myself in him, because yeah, because of course people are trying to twist away. Hold on, let me read it first. He said, if it was 10 years ago, it would have been told a different story. We would have figured out how to get that younger version of me to quit. His gear would have ended up in the showers after the show every night. He would have had his flights canceled or walked in and had his luggage bolt locked to the rafters. He would have ribbed until he would have not gotten on the plane and went to the work next week. Orton also gave his opinion on the Undertaker's comments. Yeah, of course, about modern day wrestlers playing video games and a product got soft. Yeah, he probably talked. Oh, he talked about that also. Growing up in the business and coming in when I came, the guys that were in the locker room, I love Undertaker. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth here and say that back in my day, guys had guns and knives. Now they just play video games. I love the video games, and I love to go to the shooting range too. The way it was back then, this might be a younger Randy Orton's point of view. These are all grown ass men, and the level of respect in there, depending on how many bumps you put through and how many miles you put your body through. The level of respect adjusted depending on which talent you were talking about, but everybody demanded respect. What I see a lot of now, guys don't know or understand that if it wasn't for the generation before us, there wouldn't be in us. They don't understand that the road was paved by guys like my dad, driving 1,000 plus miles a week. We have a rough schedule after the pandemic. Of course, it got easier, picking back up again. My hardest year, I think I wrestled 220 dates in 1 year. Damn. That was 2013. My father was wrestling 8, 9, 10 times a week on the indies. I was a kid living in a place for 6 months, driving to another territory, moving all of our stuff, getting an apartment, living there for 6 months. My dad would work that territory. Yeah, because they don't have days off. Of course, like you always hear that because they don't. It's not like the NFL and NBA. They don't have like seasons. Like where you're in school and they give you like whether spring break, summer break. They don't have that. They don't have that shit. They work every day. Orton talked about how veterans like how his father Kyle Bob Orton paved the way for younger wrestlers in the industry. The amount of work he put in to pave the way for me to do what I did, he did that for everybody. When I first came into business, that level of respect was apparent. What I see now, guys get the contract, put some time in NXT, and this isn't everybody. And I would never name names. And that's also the shit I hate because I'll address that later. And this isn't everybody. And I would never name names, but the general attitude coming out of NXT is already, I'm here. Where's my stuff? Yeah, like they automatically supposed to, like they're entitled, like they're owed something, like you automatically gotta give them this when we don't even know what you could possibly do yet. Like, you have to respect everybody that came before you. You have to respect everybody you're in there with. If I'm in the ring with you, I have to be able to know that you're going to put my body first and you're going to protect me and what you're doing, and you have to know that about me when it comes to that respect. I just feel that sometimes now that level of respect has dwindled. If anything, that's what's upsetting me as an old timer. I don't think it's malicious. And he talks about the tag team champions, but yeah, it take I guess I can read this part. He said he feels like guys today take for granted how much we're beating each other up because when you're new and you start in this business, you're fresh and durable. It quickly adds up. Guys take for granted how growing this business can be, especially if you're in it for the long haul. My apologies about here. See. So yeah, he basically said that of course that today's generations they all automatically think they're of course that everybody now feels like they're I don't know, I can't speak. I can feel like it's I can only say it's gone much more worse because I feel like there was always that type of way. It was always like that, especially when you have uh especially when you speak about Orton's lineage and how he's in a family where it's I guess we're now because like because businesses, and of course, like businesses like Vince, and of course, Vince himself took to how he was much more. There was there was families of wrestlers inside WWE, and not many of them, not all of them had were legends, and they had a place where they can be called such a legend and known by everybody, like Orton. But there was they still would be favoritism. So I know like people, of course, the snowflakes is going to try to twist this and say, try to bring up Orton's past and how what he did when he used to be younger and everything like that. But that doesn't still change the fact. You could do all that you want to, but that still doesn't change the fact of how he what he was speaking. And yeah, the wrestler, just like everything else today, people do take shit for granted, and they come in with a sense of entitlement and feel like everything should be given to them up front. And yeah, it's just like I feel like when it comes to like I said before, going back to like that does exist, like everywhere. Like it has been gotten worse everywhere when you say that. Oh damn it! But when it comes to, yeah, I'll say it this way: when it comes to the wrestling, especially going back to the '90s and the '80s, I feel like there still was where it wasn't always felt entitlement, or it wasn't a sense of where or a wrestler came to a locker of wrestlers and expected to be the top dog amongst them. I mean, you had wrestlers like Shawn Michaels and the NWO, Hulk Hogan. So of course, coming in with that type of backstage politics and had everything on a plate. But he's just speaking in context of the younger generation of wrestlers, and how yeah, you should always. And I'm pretty sure still. I guess that was a pet. I'm pretty sure, like Hulk still had, even when he was younger, also, and he still had a level of respect for like everybody else. But yeah, it's like these, especially how how much range the internet has grown. So you have you have motherfuckers complaining about their position. Like I said, I do speak when it comes to like, but I only speak when you have shown that you have what it takes to be an actual star. For me in my time growing up and watching wrestling, like I said, I've been watching wrestling all my life. I've been watching wrestling since I was practically out of the room. So like there isn't anything I know about wrestling, and when I see like a sports, when I garnish you, and there's like it's not like when it comes to wrestling, like I feel like you don't have to be a rare sense of ability. Like you have to have that charisma and character when it comes to going into wrestling. Like if you don't, then this isn't the place for you. It's like people, you have wrestlers up to date that complain so much on social media, also, and they're also on social media instead of working on their craft and how you can become a garner. Yeah, like instead of garnering and how you can be much bigger and become that. How you can improve your top shot. Because once you go to NXT is, make no mistake, it's still NXT was that development, like it still is. It is a development brand. It doesn't establish you. It might like at the moment establish you as a star, because you might have an assorted fan base already, but it's NXT for you as a wrestler is to get you from point A to point B. It's supposed to get you, yeah, but you're supposed you're it's like you're in a course, a rally course. Like you don't already get to this top spot. You have to work your way up simultaneously. So yeah, of course, like I said, I'm gonna always listen when it comes to Randy Orton, especially a legend, because he's Randy Orton and being in the business, and like the legend he is in the business. Of course, I'm gonna listen to every word that when he talks about, and yeah, like I'm glad that of course, he had his when he I'm glad he spoke up on this, because it's become much more apparent and it's getting out of control. It's really ridiculous how You had wrestlers that, yeah, that would rather complain and be on, social media than actually work to, decide what it is. Yeah, like you actually, and show some fucking respect. Like the thumbnail says, show some fucking respect for, the ones who paved the way for you. Because, what, make no mistake, especially like Hulk Hogan. Like I said, I may not like Hulk Hogan, but the bastard, and everything he, like, his beliefs and everything, and the character, the person that he is. But like, make no mistake about it, without Hulk Hogan, wrestling possibly wouldn't have, wouldn't been Hollywood mainstream how the way it is today. Like, it wouldn't not be. Like, you gotta have respect for those wrestlers like Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock. You gotta have that respect for them. And it's like, you still have to have that respect for them. Even if you want to come in with a mindset like I'm gonna, like, fuck all y'all, I'm gonna, I'm the top dog now, here and now. I don't need to kiss ass up to anybody else, especially a legend. But I feel like, as far as a character goes, or if you let them know that it's just, it's a joke, that I'm just probably playing it up as a character, and they'll probably take it like, yeah, or like on, like, just as like a professional level, and not really like, it's like a real personal level. Yeah, I'd be like, I'd be like really down with that. But it's like, if you just go out of your way to truly like disrespect, and you say fuck about, like, without the wrestling, I don't care, like, wrestling business needs me now and then. If you come out in the, of course, with that mindset, like, it's like who the fuck are these guys? Like, none of, when wrestling is at its absolute worst right now, nobody knows each and every one of you. Like, it's completely ridiculous. And like, wrestlers coming with that mindset. It is. It's like seriously ridiculous. And I would have thought also for Miz to come in with that mindset, because he's also just a wrestler of today, just like a decade earlier. But he's also just like among those wrestlers with that age that could have that mindset. But no, the Miz is probably, really respected backstage too. And I don't really hear you don't really hear that much stories about the Miz either. So and he comes off as, completely like, eat shit, and I'll walk under you. So yeah, I'm surprised that I'm not hearing, I don't see that or hear that from them. But it just tells you a lot. So yeah, it's completely ridiculous. But yeah, I'm gonna call these my commentary videos. Most likely, I've been willing to say that, my commentary videos, uh, because if I may not have much time, I'll just like commentate, or not that much time to be creative, I'll commentate. But yeah, these are going to be my commentary videos, and I'm gonna have to work a little harder coming to Royal Rumble. Man, because I was expecting to do a prediction, but I guess I can't do it now, or I'll just yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much follows me up my plans. But yeah, that's probably work. I try to work a little much harder when it comes to Royal Rumble, and yeah, I'll see y'all next time, I guess, when I do Royal Rumble, and yeah, I'll see y'all later. Enjoy the rest of y'all day.